Can I clarify with you that the policy of childcare for every child aged 2 to 4 is costing $14 billion over 5 years or $14 billion a year?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pretend I've got the answer to that because I haven't had the opportunity of reading that part of the manifesto.
Mr. Carmichael, you come onto the programme to talk about your manifesto.
I'm not going to pretend that I know the answer to your question. What I do know, though, is that Ed Davey, as our Shadow Chancellor, has worked very hard in ensuring that everything that is promised in this manifesto that has a cost attached to it, has income that will come in and meet it.
Do you not think that's rather patronising, Mr. Carmichael, to come onto the radio to talk to many millions of people across the country, thousands of people listening to this programme, and you have no idea how much one of your signature policies costs at all?
No,
nothing.
Well, look, if that's I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I've explained to you already that I don't know the detail of that part of the manifesto, and if you want to have me back on again tomorrow night, I'll have the answer for you then.
I would love you to come back on, but do you not think it is odd that on the day you launch your manifesto, you have, and I appreciate your honesty, but you have absolutely no clue how much your policies are costing?
No, because what I've said is that we will publish, if we've not already published today, in fact, the full costings for the manifesto. Now, this was something which...
So how was Sam Gyimah able to alight on the figure of £14 billion? Sorry, so how was your MP, Sam Gyimah, alighting on the figure of £14 over 5 years? He said he spoke to someone at headquarters.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that. This line's not very good.
Well, we can play it to you again if you'd like.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I missed what you just said to me there. The line's not very good.
Mr. Gyimah was able to speak to somebody at HQ who knew the figure of £14 billion. So are they wrong? Someone somewhere must know how much this costs.
Well, I'm sure that it is known, and I'm sure that if I had the manifesto in front of me this morning, it's right at the moment, I could probably find it and give you that in detail.
Well, let's come on to another one.
So I'm just telling you, Tom,
no, I understand
I don't have that. If you want to play, the sort of down into the minutiae, then yes, probably there are going to be lots of details in the manifesto, but I don't know.
Signature policies.
But it's 11 o'clock at night. I've been out knocking doors all day. If you want to get the headlines for the manifesto, if you want to understand the basis and the priorities that we have, then I'm quite happy to have that conversation with you.
Okay, well, let me try one more, which is a headline figure that Joe Swinson has been talking about. The Lib Dems promising a £50 billion windfall from stopping Brexit. How do you get to that number?
That was a figure that has been computed and which is described, I think, by the Institute for Fiscal Studies as being a realistic figure. And it is the way in which the economy will continue to grow. It's the hit that we won't have, if you like, by remaining in the European Union.
And that is what is paying for everything, the cost of which you don't know.
As Sam said in that clip that you had there will be an increase in the level of corporation tax from 17% to 20%. We're speaking also about
corporation tax is at 19%.
Tax in order to pay for the health service changes.
You say that corporation tax is lifted from 17 to 20%. Corporation tax is at 19%.
The Conservative Party has planned to take it to 17. We would take it back up to 20, which is what it was previously.
The Prime Minister announced 2 days ago that he was not going to cut corporation tax from 19 to 17%.
But in the last financial statement, it was said that he was going to cut it, and that's the basis on which the government's own projections have been made thus far. So
a cut that has been cancelled is the basis for you having enough money to support the policies that you don't know how much they're going to cost?
As I've said to you, that is one element of it. There are also other provisions in relation to tax avoidance, which we will take much more seriously than the government has done hitherto, something which we did actually quite effectively. We made a good start on that when we were part of the coalition government.
You've made various pledges on green policies, a call for 80% of the UK's electricity to come from renewable sources by 2030. How are you going to hit that?
There will be a number of different ways in which that can be done. We will, for example, be encouraging the development of marine renewables. That's wave and tidal power. We will see the move to energy storage, so that you're able to use battery storage, smart metering, and the rest of it in order to level out the peaks and troughs in demand, and as a consequence of that, you can have a greater reliance on onshore wind and offshore wind.
And you say you're getting to this figure of 80%. What's the jump? What is it currently to get to that point by 2030?
I'm sorry, I don't know that figure at the moment.
So you're trying to get to 80% from a figure that you don't currently have?
No, I think it's legitimate for us to say that this is the point to which we will want to go. That's where we have to get to,
but you don't know,
in order to meet our
I understand that.
Our carbon reduction target.
I understand that that's what you think is the target, but how can you say that you're going to get there by 2030 if you don't know what percentage of the UK's electricity currently comes from renewable sources?
I'm sorry. Look, I've no doubt this is very entertaining for you.
It's not really, Mr. Carmichael. It's not entertainment. It's not. Okay. I know you didn't, and yeah, I'm really. Look, I'm not here to beat you up, right?
No, I'm just looking for. And it's good sport. I no doubt it's all very enjoyable, but this is not.
With respect,
if you want me to tell you now that I don't know the minutiae of a document that was published at 10 o'clock this morning, then yeah, okay, I'll hold my hands up.
How can I find these figures? How is it that I can do this? How is it that my listeners can go and look for? How is it that Sam Gyimah, your own MP, can be told 14 billion over 5 years or 14 billion over a year? Well, I'm not. Listen, I get that you're not here to study every single cough, kick, and splutter of your manifesto. I understand that, and politicians, I think, frankly, should go into interviews with notes in order to be able to help them, because no one can expect you to have every figure in your head. But on the day you launch your manifesto, you have some huge claims being made, some massive costs, and you have no idea about how much this is going to.
No, I'm sorry. You've asked me a lot of detailed questions. I've given the best possible answers to them. If I've not known the answer, then I've told you that I didn't know the answer. So I don't think it's fair comment to say that I've got no clue.
But you don't know the figures?
I don't know that particular figure, no.